got oral health in a digital age is something I'm very interested in, because I think we can do so much more. There are a couple of audio recordings I've made, and so I may have to have a play around with the volume later using CapCut, which is something I'm quite keen on now. So let's see what I've got. Right, I've just got back from a bike ride. It's a bit wild on Anglesey today, and outside I thought maybe I should make a video explaining what I do with regard to digital dentistry and prevention, because I won't be able to make the meeting in June, but hopefully some people have a look at this. And if you want, I can always make a polished version. Well, clearly I haven't. And yeah, I got to find out whether, I thought I put a bit of me in it so you knew it was, it was someone. Anyway, a long time ago I made this teethforlife.org, and I did a presentation to some FDs on prevention. Wrong way. Anyway, but if you go on there, you can see quite a few of these little videos that generally are under 20 minutes. I doubt if this one will be, but that's what you want for a TED Talk. Your mind goes after about 15 minutes. So anyway, but look at the one on litigation, which you can find on YouTube. It's now in English. When I first made it, I made it in Spanish because I was worried about getting in trouble with the GDC. There we are. Anyway, so, but this came up the other day, and it said your YouTube channel's 7 years old. I think it's a little bit more, because the first video, I've put nearly all my videos on because it includes my mistakes, and then hopefully it shows how it's improved over the years, because the improvements we're getting now are just rapid. So I did mention CapCut. I used to use Vimeo, but there's no comparison between how quick. Sometimes I'd wait for ages with Vimeo. It was good. iMovie's still really good. And of course you can do all these things on your phone. And actually I've made lots of videos that you can amend yourself. So that's one of the things that I don't mention here, is I've made a video showing you how you can make your videos, because people prefer knowing people that they trust rather than a corporate telling them my toothbrush is better than yours and all that kind of malarkey. Anyway, what's the next video? These are my YouTube videos. So if you go into Teeth for Life YouTube, in there somewhere, oh yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I can't use the mouse or whatever. Right, okay, so, but have a look at them. But there's a lot there on care homes, and, there's one there that's got 10 videos in that, dental health service pitches is what I've tried to do in the past to just try and improve health digitally. And this person, this is the first video that I've made in the series, and just this chap here, he's a long time dead, but we can learn a lot from business. We can learn a lot from different areas. So what this is really meant to show is, on the right, it's the transcript of the video that I made a while back. I'm not great at writing. I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic, but as I'm too old to have ever been diagnosed. But so what I've did with this, when you've got the transcript, then rather than write it all down, you can then run it through what's called a GPT, which I learnt last year. And so what it does, you ask it to do something. So what I've asked it to do is, I'm not sure if it shows on the next page, not really. What I've asked it to do is to make the video that I've made into a LinkedIn post to describe what we're trying to promote, and make it into a few social media posts. So I'm putting a series of 3 videos on 3D printing. That's for next week, and I'll do 10 of them. But basically what it does is it kind of, I'm hoping, will market what I'm trying to achieve, that I think is for, as you would say, the greater good. And this is one of the first videos I made. If you type in prevention on YouTube, it should bring something like this up. There's probably, I've used it a couple of times, and it's based around Anglesey, where I grew up, and I think it was an area that was not fluoridated. So like nearly every dentist in the world, I'm really keen on fluoride. But sometimes people get poor information on, Facebook, social media. Anyway, unfortunately, I did make an app, but it's no longer available. If you type in Teeth for Life app on the website, you'll find out about that. But one of the things that I thought, right, to keep the app going, and I heard about a problem that I was unaware of at a gerodontology meeting. And basically it's about 14,000 dentures going missing. And you think, I'm sure scanning can help. And I had help with UE to show that we could scan using my mobile phone. And what we did prove was, as with all good research, it didn't work. But it does work, obviously, with dental scanners, and some of them are actually are too good. And I've also made videos on how you can do it using a home scanner for £500. But what I'm promoting is, I think it might be on the next slide, is that the problem is when people are in a care home and they have the dentures in their mouth, and it's difficult to get them to suddenly have their mouth, the denture scanned. But if when they do their oral health assessment, it asks about the denture, what would they do if they lost it? Then that's an interesting thing, because that's how you would get them make them think on the marketing. Because if you just put something down saying, well, we can scan it now for 50 quid, or you can wait till you lose it, then you go without your teeth for a month and it's going to cost you about £1,500, and it won't feel as good as the one you had before, even if you think you look like a horse. You know this kind of scenario. Just people need to get their teeth scanned, and what should happen now is whenever someone has a denture made, you can buy a scanner for like 5,000 for a lab, and they should have them. They kind of do it automatically. You don't have to do it by hand, which you do with, the basic dental scanners. And so some of the things that I've done, I've put this in because last year I finished a course on use of AI. Right. The thing that's scary is how much it improved since then, because I started making stuff using something called Flowise, and now that same thing is a product that you can get with ChatGPT called Codex, I think, which I need to learn, or at least need to learn how to use. And then I also did one on marketing. Then the marketing one was really good as well. That's just why I did the AI one. But you need money, and I haven't got it. And I did apply for it. These are different cases that I applied for. So I did a course on health innovation with Wessex for a while. I think that was a 4-day course, a residential thing, and then I've done quite a few of these courses, trying to work out how we can integrate it into dentistry. I think I've applied about 5 times. I applied for mouth cancer screening. I applied for 3D denture printing, which I nearly got through Health Innovation East. My first one was using a dental app, which I got told to come back when it made some money. That was from the Southwest. And then when I showed to the AHSN in Manchester, they were really keen until I told them that I was charging £10 for it, and they said that was far too little, and then they refused to talk to me. So it's really interesting when you try to do these things. It's just a bit frustrating that, as you know, with dentistry there is no funding, but they pretend there is. So some of my thoughts, I can't remember why I put this slide in, but if you have a look, so there's some there, and the second one down is basically how you start a business. So you should be able to find that, and you can see there are pictures there. So I think there's a video with this, so hopefully it won't sound too bad. So if you put more money into NHS dentistry, would everything improve? Wealthy countries like Norway invest more in health than most, but still have waiting lists. And Denmark's waiting lists are half the size, but for the equivalent amount of money. However, if you live in the States, it's going to cost you about 3 times as much if you can afford it. It's not an even playing field. So it's our money that pays for the NHS. But if there was no NHS dentistry, which country's health model, as an individual, would you prefer? So that video I made from using that GPT, and actually it isn't one of the 10 videos that I've made on how we could improve health. I was just trying it out. So what it is the idea for all the different aspects is to make a kind of story. And this was a social media post. If only I had some followers. But it's the first one which outlines the problem. The second one will be the outline the pathway. And the third one, as with all good stories, it has the user giving them the solution and making them the hero of the scenario. Now, I know it won't work, but it's worth a try. What would work is if you sent them a video. So that's a different aspect. And so again, there are lots of different videos I've made here. But the top one shows you how to make your own video. And then you can go into Denflix, which I made. It's got about 30 videos each with the 2 minutes of text that you can either use my text or your own text. And then that one, it says get CapCut, which is free. and it shows you how you can superimpose yourself on top of the video. So instead of you can send an email or you can send a WhatsApp message to anyone, but if they know it's from you, they're more likely to listen to it than if it's from me. The how to make an assistant, I think that was me just plugging, making an assistant, and how to repair a denture. So I've done that. That's what I did it for a friend's care home resident, using super glue and then scanning the denture. But obviously, it would have been better if they'd had it scanned first and even a replacement made. Oh, there's me again. I better look in the corner. Right, there's Sam with this one too, and this is the same thing. This is the linked-in version for last week. So yeah, same. Still trying to figure out how to use CapCut, which is really good. But you should recognise the last picture from The Economist, and the idea was for you just to read the title and see what you think. So I'm really keen to use behavioural science. I think there's an awful lot that we can help influence people with micro habits to improve their general health. And this is the one that I hope you've seen, and you may even read the... Right, so I just realised I should have had a shave. I should have got some decent glasses. I look a little bit like a thug. But anyway, I'm not sure many people will see this. But this is just explain what we can do and what I did do. And I always used a Mac. I did desktop publishing when I started my business, or started a squat in 1994, 95. And so I've always been using a Mac. But you have to use Google. So to access, I think you have to use Google to access my bots. And I think, as you know, there's lots of different AI help. So I've just using ChatGPT. But Google's got Gemini. I think Microsoft is Copilot, and then I think Microsoft's still with Anthropic, which is Claude, and and there are lots of different sort of smaller versions. But what we should have is our own AI with the necessary guardrails in. So this is what I've made. Actually, but when I was at my mother's, and one lunchtime we were talking through how you could use LLMs, but they said that you needed text, and I didn't have any, and I could just notice that you could put in some YouTube videos, because YouTube had suddenly started doing the transcripts. And so, like for the dental pain, and I tried last year with help from Cardiff to make a dental pain triage chatbot using the guidelines that we used during COVID, and improve teledentistry. So that's all in there, including delivering better oral health. So one would presume that advice is good. The guardrails are in place there. All the videos of stuff that I've learned over the years that I think is good advice, and that's how you get these LLMs. So I made 6 of them, and these are just it was obviously just a screenshot. But what happens is you end up with something like this, and these are actually on the dentalhealthservice.org website. So if you press Aura on the homepage, or you go into the assistants, this is what it'll bring up. So each one of those blocks has 3 things, and actually there's a lot more you could put in with them. You can put in what's it called? I think brain thing. There's a few other things that you can use, but basically it said make a video. So after I made it, I made a video. Or rather, I left it to make a video. And these videos are about 5 minutes long, and they're a summary of everything that's in the chatbot. You can ask the chatbot any question. So it says on it, to ask me, and it's best if you keep the question down to about 50, saying I want the answer in 50 words or 75 words, and show me the most relevant video, and that works, and it shows the most relevant video that I've made. But they also then made podcasts, and I thought these would be rubbish, but actually they're really quite good, and they're funny in places. They're not 100% accurate. There are some hallucinations. But yeah, so they're all about 20 minutes long. And so if you want a summary of what I've been thinking, it's all there in the main. So this one is, so you can use a GPT, I think, to help develop your ideas and share experience and resources. The way that we learn should really change from, it's some of the stuff that we learn is out of date. For instance, still teaching how to make dentures without any reference to digital dental printing, when actually you could now have the way things have developed. I had a scanner, I had a blue cam, CEREC blue cam, and went to the States now. That must be over 10 years ago, and the 17 years ago. But when I went to the meeting for scanning, it was the 30th annual meeting of Seronas and scanning. So this isn't new stuff. It's just like everything else. It just takes a long time to develop and improve. And then suddenly it just off at the races. And we need to be using this more. Anyway, so this is an SOP in, as it says there, how can I do it? And I've asked for different advice, but also it tends to reiterate my interests. So sometimes when I'm struggling with programming, you can struggle for a few hours, and I realise after a certain length of time you should just give up and start again. But it's really clever stuff. It's getting too clever. It's really a little bit scary. But what we need is to at least use it by sharing our knowledge and experience now, so we get ahead of the game. We don't want to be in the ridiculous situation that we have with, mobile phones at the moment, saying teenagers shouldn't have them or for a length of time. We need to be proactive, and we can do that as a group rather than wait for some big company take it over, because their interests will definitely be profits. So anyway, this is just a section of what I was talking about to ChatGPT to help me develop what I think we should develop. And as you can see there, that is just a slide from one of the videos that I made on innovation and integration. And this is where we go wrong, I think. I'm not sure if Drucker mentions this, but the really good book is by someone obviously not in health, but he was really ill. And it's Mike Milken on faster cures, where he grabs the great and the good, bright young doctors and invests in them to try and find different cures. So it's a bottom-up approach. And we have examples of that in the UK, which I've written about. And they're all in different videos. But we need a bottom-up approach. And this is what we have at the moment. The guy at the top, we want to get rid of that. The GDC is not fit for purpose. It hasn't been for a long, long time. But we need something that helps the public get access. And actually all it does is it hinders public access to health. And it's not a regulatory body. It's more like, it has a service. We do need to have regulation, but not the way they implement it. And the manner in which it's done is a climate of fear, which is just ridiculous, trying to promote a system that's failed, or rather, implement a system that's failed. It's just nuts. What we should have is something like this, where we get everyone around the table who has their experience and ideas, and we can use AI to kind of, as most of you, well, not most of you, but you can, your transcripts, if you do your clinical notes, AI will pick out the transcripts. Well, why not pick out the information that anyone can, do a voice note and send in saying, this is what I don't like, this is what likes, and this is what really works for us. And we can share it by setting a GPT that works, and then we can put it into an element, into a resource that everyone can access. And the regulation, we need to get all around the table. And there's a whole business of lawyers set up for policing the health service, not just dentistry. And the health service contract that we all pay for the health service through taxes, is the contract should just be, I will not sue the NHS. That was from Kevin Lewis, who was a dentist who I admired greatly on prevention. But it works for all aspects of the health service. And if you want to sue, if you get a poor outcome, which isn't the same as bad treatment, then at least you have to pay for it. Anyway, there's lots of different... Oh, yeah, and the thing was that, so we need to get rid of we don't need to modify the Dental Act as happens all the time. That's just rubbish. We just need a totally different thing that improves access with the good regulation, but not the punitive sort of way that it works. That doesn't help anybody. Anyway, so I got into this when my dad got dementia. So I made the website when I first visited my dad in a secure health unit. Yeah, so anyway, and over the years I keep playing around with it, and it now looks better on a mobile. So please have a look on your mobile and have a little play with the app. I mean, the assistant. It really is pretty good. But I need to make it easier, and I'm going to have to pay someone for that. I know I can do it, but it would probably just take me too long, and there are other things to do. And so this is one of the things, is that this is an app for the public. So it's now called dentalhealthservice.org. So anyone can register on it. So if you look at the services, it has care homes, it has teledentistry, it has applying silver diamine fluoride, it has given oral hygiene instruction. All these things trained nurses can do if they've done the level 4 oral health apprenticeship course, which is a great idea, but it just isn't working, and it won't work because people have to travel too far. It's too time consuming, when really, one of the things we should be doing is teledentistry. Well, clearly you can do that at home. You should be able to learn it at home. And when it comes to experience, the hands-on stuff, most of it, not most of it, all of it, you can do at the dental practice, and someone can film you on their phone as the evidence. We've just got to work out how to teach one another to improve the services that we provide, and provide it in a different manner. So on the website, I put some ideas about the resources, and there it is. Yeah, I've forgotten, but obviously no one's paid for this yet. But it would be great if I had some early adopters who were willing to pay £10 a month to have their own website, and we'll build that, and then I'll probably have enough money to improve it. And but the thing is, we should improve it. It's not me. It's everybody should be helping with this, and we need to then delegate around that people who are interested. And I think people my age who probably, in winter it gets a bit dull and boring, would want something to do in the winter. Now, you want to play golf or go for a walk or whatever, but there's a whole group of people who could help with this. And one of the things is, if you've started your own business, even though they have direct access, it hasn't been taken up great. And again, I think it's just the climate of fear. It's easier to go and get someone else to be in charge. And certainly now you can earn so much money as a hygienist. Why would you? Well, after a while, it gets a bit dull. The interesting part is running your own business. That's part of the challenge, and that's what's, you can call it a challenge, but having been challenged is quite good. It's when you're doing the same stuff all the time, that's when it gets a bit dull and boring, and you don't enjoy it. Anyway, so I've made a site for that, and it's all here. And when I say it's all here, it needs input. So have a look at that. I made it about 6 weeks ago, maybe longer. I went on holiday for a while, but it's there. So it says a quick registration, so anyone can go on the website, and then the map will start to fill up. And when the map starts to fill up, then people start to get more interested in it. And as a group, certainly for, so as I keep calling it, community dentists, or whatever the current title is, it's free to join, and just needs people to be aware of it. And so some of the videos that are on my YouTube channel, I was just going to say there's quite a few, but the one on the bottom left, the Decay Away, I think if you type in SDF, you'll find it. That's had under 300 views. The one that I made at the same time, I made 3 after I'd been to Portland last year. I made 3. One was on SDF, and I called it Decay Away. Half of that 53-minute video is one of a person called Jeanette McLean, who I contacted about 6 years ago with SDF, and she shows you how to apply it. The one above, I met Sarah twice. I met her this year again at Portland, and she's got her own business. I think it's called Sound Dental Care. Oh yeah, it says on this thing. Right, if you look at just that video, it's part of on the other one on SDF, it shows how to apply SDF in a care home. Now, obviously, it stops cervical caries, but I think it also reduces periodontal disease, or certainly controls it to some degree. But no one's done any research on it. The only reason I can think is it's too cheap. The other one, MDA, that was one of the reasons for going. It was, I saw a video on the American site webinar in teledentistry, And that chap's Paul Glassman. If you look him up, Professor Paul Glassman, and he's done a lot with public health in California, and we can learn a lot from him. And the others, it's just showing the thing about children. It's the same product. You don't need to be a dentist to apply a varnish. A trained nurse can do it. And so that's what you're trying to do, is to empower trained nurses to be able to go into care homes, to apply SDF, to be able to do asynchronous screening, to be able to give oral hygiene instruction. And, if people go in to, podiatrists go in, but hairdressers go in. And so if they can get access to a care home, when actually one could argue they don't do anything for their, it might help with their social health, but not the general health. We can help reduce the number of pneumonias, just by having the mouth cleaned, as shown by Sarah. And I've made lots of YouTube shorts to help with my marketing, which basically hasn't got anywhere, but please you use them. The one central at the top there, I think is really quite good, if I say so myself. It's only had 140 views, which is equally disappointing. The only time I ever had quite a few number of views is when I fell off my bike, and I'm not prepared to keep doing that. And so, again, I think there's a bit of sound with this. Hopefully the volume's okay. So that was my LinkedIn little video, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I put a different kind of angle on health last week, and this is what I'm trying to promote, and what I think we can do and it is digital, because it's got the digital scanner there, which you can now use with an iPad. I think you can rent them, so there's the amount of, if you was purely about the money, then that's a no-brainer. But you just want people to go in and not just do that. They can make money doing that, but also, as in the previous video, look after people, get their mouth clean, once a month, once a fortnight, once every 6 months, apply SDF, right? We can do all that. We just need to release and empower the people to do it. These are all different things that they could do at the same time. Needing consent for an x-ray, that's just nonsense. I mean, that's going out with the arc. And then, so this was, this again, it's just like a poster trying to get people to invest in prevention, right? If we didn't have a health service, which I keep saying is that, all our money goes into the health service. So you have some people who look after themselves, and they pay the same amount in, well, probably a lot more than the people who don't look after themselves. Now, I know I could get into trouble for saying that, but it's just stating the obvious. And what we can have is this. And so, again, this is made with AI this morning, while I was making my porridge. As I say, I think it does follow to a large extent what I've said already on AI over the last 6 months. But this is what we really could have, is this, that if you expand it further, it could just be part of a community health service. Because all the use of AI and empowering different people, we need to do something. We need to get rid of regulation, in that when I applied for mouth cancer screening, I asked for someone if we could use their encrypted pathway. And this company is now actually got the funding. It's now online. It's an interesting story, but basically they wouldn't do it because they said we might get one wrong and not be too concerned. You obviously have to be concerned, but not that you don't actually do anything and you keep your hands behind your back. You want to do the right thing. And this would apply for everyone. We can use AI with the appropriate guardrails to provide all kinds of different services. And again, you could just have one central resource. God knows, you could call it what used to be the National Health Service. You could have your National Health Service bot that everybody trusted, and there would be regulation to make sure that the people on there were adequately trained, and the onus would then be on the public who find them. And who knows, it might well be that they use Trustpilot rather than the qualifications that anyone can forge, just like your Ooh, was it when you were a youngster and you fake ID? Anyway, AI is very good at lots of things, probably even that one. And so this is, I just thought of this at the time, is as a dentistry in general, we don't have a plan. All that happens is we just whinge and moan when things go wrong and we don't get what we want. Well, let's do something different. And I think that's repetition, but that's about community health service as opposed to a dental health service or a mouth health service. And this is the guy that I've listened to a lot, and he's been dead a long time, but he's the father of business, or I think that's what they call him. And so just, that's me speaking, but just look at what he says and think, whenever you're a bit down, just read some of his ideas and his quotes. Anyway, I hope you like this. Hope it works.